We can prove without any doubt that this official narrative of COVID-19 is fake. And the things are going so quick now. We also mentioned the Epstein files, which shows that there is a very evil elite led by bankers, really evil to this world and to all the people living here.
Yeah, and you went quite hard. Sorry to cut you, because that was one of the most amazing things today, was to hear certain things said in that room about the fact there was these satanic elites. The Epstein files existed. Yes. These people aren't being prosecuted. There's a reason for that. And there's also a reason they're not saying anything. But you said what you said, and you left the justices, I'm not sure what you call your judges, left them with a thought, and it said that you have to decide who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil. Yes. And you were very heart-led and spirit-led, but also brutal with the truth. And it needs to be told in that way, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen.
But you don't have a choice. People act like you have a choice.
Bill Gates on trial. I would not have believed this was real had I not been in that courtroom myself. Right now in the Netherlands, there are 2 connected legal cases against Bill Gates, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla, former Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte, now Secretary General of NATO, and other senior government officials and media. The first case, filed in June 2023 by 7 claimants who were injured by the Pfizer COVID injections, is a full lawsuit that is still ongoing. It is live and it is moving through the courts. The second case, brought by 3 further petitioners in March 2025, is a procedural attempt to force an open pre-trial hearing where the claimants' expert witnesses could be questioned under oath and their testimony examined before the main trial. Those experts are Dr. Mike Yeadon, ex-VP of Pfizer, Sasha Latipova, ex-pharma executive, Catherine Austin-Fitz, financial analyst, Joseph Sansoni, clinical psychologist, and Catherine Watts, a legal analyst. The 2 cases, both run by Dutch lawyer Peter Stassen, are tightly linked. Largely the same defendants, the same core allegations, well, the truth, the same proposed experts.
There was no pandemic. There was no new illness called COVID-19.
I've been litigating for over a year and a half to get the mRNA injections off the market because they're biological and technological weapons of mass destruction.
My peers in the pharmaceutical industry also knew this. So did the regulatory agencies like FDA.
I believe that the pandemic represented an egregious misuse of healthcare policies to implement economic and political agendas.
In my expert opinion, the COVID-19 injections are indistinguishable from weapons.
The COVID-19 nanoparticle injections are associated with neurological disorders, autoimmune diseases, heart problems, cancers.
The global scale on which this is happening is unprecedented.
Whether it meets the definition of genocide is legal determination for the court.
They come from the political, pharmaceutical, media and business sector. Among the defendants are Bill Gates, Albert Bourla and Mark Rutte. And here comes the point. Suppressing the truth is immoral.
The 9th of March hearing was a procedural appeal asking the higher court to overturn a lower court decision that had refused the early evidence hearing application. No experts were required to testify on the 9th, although Sasha Latipova and Joseph Sansoni attended in person, as the hearing consisted solely of legal submissions from counsel to appeal the lower court's decision. Peter told me he will do everything he can to ensure the experts are heard in open court. The 9th of March appeal hearing, what I'm speaking to you about now, its outcome is not the final battle. The main lawsuit is still very much alive, and the next hearing is in October 2026. In a nutshell, and putting it mildly, The claimants are accusing Bill Gates, Albert Bourla, the Dutch state, and the media of unlawfully misleading the public through propaganda, fabrication, and a fake narrative, of lying about the safety and efficacy of the COVID jabs, ultimately leading to serious physical and psychological harm. They are asking the court to formally declare that unlawful wrongdoing occurred and to make the defendants legally accountable for the consequences. On 9th of March, Peter Stassen opened the appeal by sharply criticising the defendants' absence. But this is a civil case, and figures like Bill Gates and Albert Bourla weren't likely to attend in person. What matters is that their legal teams were there. They are formally before the court. They are defendants. They have lawyers. Jurisdiction has been confirmed. Their physical absence, no matter how disrespectful, did not and will not stop this case. In Peter Stassen's pleadings, read aloud in court, he came out swinging. He attacked, with evidence, the fraudulent PCR test as a diagnostic tool. He attacked the entire COVID narrative as fake. He stated it was pre-planned and part of a wider global project called the Great Reset. He called the COVID jab a bioweapon, a crime against humanity, and he called the global elites satanic. He named the Epstein files and Epstein's role. He put all this truth on the record in open court. And to hear this truth blow by blow spoken aloud to appellate judges in a high court is unprecedented. I need to share some of what he said, his exact words, though hearing them from me cannot capture the force with which they were delivered in open court. In court, lawyer Peter Stassen said, on the Global Elite Network, there is a globally organized malicious elite. At the top of this elite are at least some of the families who own the central banks worldwide. On Jeffrey Epstein, he said, Mr. Epstein plays an important role in this network. He is the banker's agent. Epstein is shaping the transhuman agenda, which is largely driven by the desire to eradicate much of the world's population. On a satanic system, he said, bankers, secret services, media, Hollywood figures, government officials, universities, and many scientists are corruptly connected to this network and serve this transhuman, let's just say satanic, mind-bending system. On COVID and genocide, he said, we are witnessing the largest genocide of the world's population ever. This is a key component of the COVID-19 agenda, which the defendants are executing. On vaccines as bioweapons, he said, the COVID-19 mRNA injection is a military biological weapon system. COVID-19 was not a public health incident, but a covert global military operation. On deception and criminality, he said, it is now common knowledge that the official COVID-19 narrative is incorrect. We are dealing with professional liars. The defendants are working together to commit a criminal act. On media and institutional control, he said, the executors of the COVID-19 project control the political, media, and the scientific landscape. On the Epstein files, he said, the Epstein files prove that the democratic rule of law is being undermined by a malicious elite targeting the population. These files are a psychological operation to further facilitate the Great Reset.
Er bestaat een wereldwijd georganiseerde kwaadaardige elite. In de top van deze elite zitten in ieder geval een aantal van de families die de eigenaren zijn van de centrale banken die wereldwijd het recht hebben gekaapt om geld uit het niets te maken. Zij zijn degenen die dit geld tegen rente aan de overheden uitlenen en zich verrijken ten koste van de belastingbetaler. De heer Epstein vervult een belangrijke rol in dit netwerk. Hij is zaakbehartiger van de bankiers en ook een zeer belangrijk persoon bij de trilaterale commissie die door de Rockefellers, eveneens een bankiersfamilie, in het leven is geroepen. De heer Epstein is een zelfverklaard transhumanist. Iemand die niets op heeft met de schepping van de mens, tenzij deze tot de geldadel behoort. In opdracht van zijn superieuren geeft Epstein vorm aan de transhumane agenda, die voor een belangrijk deel wordt gevormd door de wens om de wereldbevolking grotendeels uit te roeien. Deze transhumane agenda is een belangrijk deel van de Great Reset agenda, waarvan verweerders uitvoerders zijn. Nu zijn deze Epstein-files voor een deel, circa 3,5 miljoen van de meer dan 5 miljoen pagina's, met veel zwarte strepen vrijgegeven. En deze files getuigen van betrokkenheid van bankiers, geheime diensten, media, Hollywoodfiguren, overheidsfunctionarissen, universiteiten en ook vele zogenaamde wetenschappers, die allemaal op corrupte wijze in dit netwerk zijn verbonden en in dienst staan van dit transhumane, zeg maar gerust satanische gedachtegoed. Iedereen die de rechtvaardigheid niet doet, is niet uit God, evenmin als hij die zijn broeder niet lief heeft. En hier, aan deze zijde, wordt geen rechtvaardigheid gedaan bij het verweer dat men maar voert. Men had deze deskundigen moeten omarmen, omdat zij de waarheid lief hebben. En dan moet u zelf maar beslissen wie hier de kinderen van God zijn en wie hier de kinderen van de duivel zijn.
As I sat in the courtroom with headphones in my ears and the English translation, I was sitting directly behind Peter Stassen, and in the front row next to Sasha Latipova, I felt his words physically. I had goosebumps, sharp intakes of breath, and a little shock, really, at what he stated so confidently and unwaveringly and so bravely in that room. For the first time in 6 years, I felt we are getting so close to the exposure some of us have fought, suffered, and waited for. The most expensive propaganda campaign in human history, the millions dead, likely billions harmed. Some of us stood against it from the outset and have waited for a moment like this, not truly, really believing it would ever happen. We are still far from justice. But the point is, these words were spoken in such a place, in a public domain, and as usual, it's our job to make sure it's seen and heard, because the media is predictably silent. In response to Stassen's statement, of course, the defendant's lawyers stonewalled completely. Not surprising, it's textbook strategy. The less they say, the less they have to prove. Delay, obfuscate, run down the clock. Anyone who understands hard litigation like Peter sees it for what it is. Their aim is simple: drag this out, commit to nothing, give away as little as possible, but they won't be able to hide like that for much longer. Sooner or later, they'll have to put evidence and a full defense on the table. Instead, they fixated on attacking Stassen's litigation style, nitpicking procedure, and repeating the same tired lines that there was a pandemic and that the jabs were safe and effective. That was the entirety of their play.
De ziekte COVID-19 bestaat. Er is een pandemie geweest en de vaccins tegen COVID-19 zijn veilig en effectief.
Mrs. Mooring, speaking on behalf of the defendants, who was one of 9 lawyers in the room, spoke for about 3 minutes. Some were shocked by this brief response, but Peter wasn't. I mean, I wasn't. It's simply a tactic that will only last for so long. And of course, the mainstream media was not present and is silent. Of course they won't touch it. People shouldn't be shocked by that. So I spoke to Peter afterwards, and I have absolutely no shame, but I am truly fangirling at this point, as you can probably tell.
We have 2 procedures. One already started in June 2023. It's a main procedure where the central thesis is COVID-19 is not a disease but a project. And the defendants in that case are executors of this COVID-19 project. And this main litigation is already going on for over 2 years. And what is very important is that this narrative that our opponents have, the COVID-19 narrative, is so strong. They have so many scientists backing this up, but these are not true scientists. These are fanatici. And we need to break through that. So I had the luck that 3 other clients came to me and they said, well, we maybe also want such a litigation, but we don't know if it will succeed. And especially for this question, we have in the Netherlands a procedure which only gathers evidence. And I thought that's a really great idea, because if we start with evidence, because it's all about evidence, then the litigation that they want, we can already know that they will win it, because if you have the evidence, then you win. So what is really important about evidence? Really important is that you have evidence that was made by experts before a court, under oath, with the possibilities of the defendants to say and ask what they want to say, to have contra experts. So I thought, yeah, we have a procedure in the Netherlands which is only about evidence, so I will start it. And the good thing, if you look in the law says you will win this procedure except when you abuse the law. So I thought this cannot be a problem, because there is no abuse here whatsoever. So we started this litigation at the court in Leeuwarden, and we put forward the 5 experts you already introduced. And I thought this must be good. And for some reasons, you can read them in the verdict, but it's all very far short. They said this is abuse of the law. So I didn't accept that. For my clients, I cannot accept such a verdict in such a principal case. So what I did is I appealed this decision. And then I have the problem that in the law is stated you cannot appeal. So, but luckily in the Netherlands, we also have a kind of case law which says if there are fundamental rights in a litigation, if they are damaged, then we can do this. So,
and would that be, is it Article 6? Have you argued Article 6?
Article 6 I have argued, but there's one even far more fundamental norm in law. And this is that every party is obliged to tell the truth. So you need to tell the truth to the judge so that he can make an informed decision.
Yeah.
And this is where it all bottles down. What happens is that we can now, with the facts which are generally known, we can prove without any doubt that this official narrative of COVID-19 is fake. And the things are going so quick now. We also mentioned the Epstein files, which shows that there is a very evil elite led by bankers, really evil to this world and to all the people living here.
Yeah, and you went quite hard. Sorry to cut you, because that was one of the most amazing things today, was to hear certain things said in that room about the fact there was these satanic elites. The Epstein files existed.
Yes.
These people aren't being prosecuted. There's a reason for that. And there's also a reason they're not saying anything. But you said what you said, and you left the justices, I'm not sure what you call your judges, left them with a thought, and it said that you have to decide who are the children of God and who are the children of the devil.
Yes.
And you were very heart-led and spirit-led, but also brutal with the truth. And it needs to be told in that way, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen. We don't have a procedure at all like this in the United Kingdom to try to get evidence on record before any kind of hearing. And obviously it's connected to the other case that you have with the 7 plaintiffs who are obviously injured, any bereaved. I think one of them has passed away.
Yes.
And that's the most tragic thing as well. Lots of people know about the censorship and the silencing of this and the pain that people suffer. But you are unlike any lawyer I have ever met before.
Thank you.
And I was typing. So everyone will see what you said and what the court said to you today in English. I was fast typing the whole thing for the translation. But you had 9 lawyers. I think it was 9 for the defendants.
For the other parties, yes.
And just yourself. And yeah, you did an incredible job. But I love what you said in that courtroom today.
Yeah, because if you look at what's really happening, this is historic. Because I put in this court, in this high court, I put the evidences of Sasha Latipova. I put all the videos in, I put the evidence of Catherine Watt, and all the evidence is there lying that it's truly a bioweapon.
Yeah.
That's the point. In fact, it was already proven when I walked into the court. Not in the way that I want, under oath, but it's proven anyway. And I also asked for an injunction procedure. And what I now can show, and that's of course the situation for the defendants, I can show very clear that they all stick together, say nothing, the evidence is lying on the table.
Yeah.
And you can make very clear to the judge that what you are looking at is in fact the exercise of the mafia code, because that's what's really happening. And they just say nothing. They say these are safe and effective vaccines, and the proof is there, and everybody in the courtroom knows they are lying. And this is something I want to very clearly point out. So my first job is to show the judges that they don't speak the truth. And I think nobody can deny that. That was very clear in this court hearing, and the evidence is there. And if you don't speak the truth and you lie to the judges and you twist the legal system, that's what happened in first instance, then this court needs to appeal this decision. And I think we could make this very clear, and that was also great that some of the experts were in the courtroom, that there was a lot of support for this case. And now it's already proven that they do not react, they do not take care of the civilians. And
no,
this
in
is
no
shocking.
way. And Mike's made no secret about the fact that the jab, and specifically the Pfizer mRNA jabs, were toxic by design, because you don't by accident put those chemicals together in that toxic cocktail. Like, he's been very strong on that, and you've been very strong on what you just said now and what you said in the courtroom. And like I say, it was epic to be in there today to listen to that, to say that the narrative is all a lie. It's all based on a lie. And the last point is that the other side had nothing to say today. They had nothing to offer. You had someone appear on the screen for Albert Baller, I think.
Yeah, it was a Pfizer
legal representation.
yes.
Yeah, and somebody else as well. But out of those 9 lawyers, you had that one woman speak for perhaps, I don't know, 3-4 minutes.
Exactly.
And they're not offering anything. They're not speaking about anything, because if they did offer evidence, obviously we know that, or you know, that you and the expert witnesses
We would crush it, for sure.
could absolutely, and that's what's going to happen as well. So I've got all the faith. And just last words for people that are watching in the United Kingdom.
Yeah, it's great if you look at this case and follow it. We will really try to do our best to bring out the truth, and I'm committed to not stop.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been amazing to be a part of this today. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am deeply grateful that I was invited to be a part of this, to witness this historic moment. As a law student, as someone who has spent 6 years fighting for truth, justice and freedom, being arrested, charged, convicted repeatedly, being ostracized, hated, headlines that were meant to mock and humiliate me, that only spurred me on, really. I was called an anti-vax conspiracy theorist, as were so many of you. So this moment felt like something else entirely. Not victory, not yet, but vindication. Such truth put on record and spoken in a high court, unlike anything I have ever experienced. At the press conference afterwards, Peter broke down exactly what had just happened in court and doubled down without hesitation. He put it bluntly, publicly, and on the record once again.
Today was, I think, historic. And why it was historic? Because we had the chance to be very clear and to show very well what is actually happening if we look at the role of our defendants, which are executors of the project COVID-19, the Great Reset. Before we went in the courtroom, and Abe already said it was an appeal, there was the evidence of our great experts, Sasha Latipova, Joseph Sanson, Catherine Austin-Fist, Catherine Watt, and who I forget? Mike Eden. The great Mike Eden. This evidence was lying there in the court. The judges had seen it, and they know that COVID-19 is not a vaccine, but a bioweapon. That's the sad truth. And what's more fundamental than the truth? There's nothing more fundamental than the truth, because without truth, you cannot have a fair trial. That's impossible. So, my basic argumentation is there was no truth. So this was not a fair trial. And what I did today is I explained to the judges, the raadsheren as we call them in the Netherlands, that the official COVID-19 narrative is fake. Explained that we nowadays have the Epstein files, and this is a novum. And these files help us a lot, because what governments say, and also the Dutch governments, they say all this complot theory, as we say in Dutch, all this conspiracies, thank you, I have the best audience in the world. And all these conspiracies are not true. And now we have the Epstein files telling us that there is an evil elite which is against humanity and is trying to rob and kill us. It's as clear as can be. The truth is out. So the first thing the judges had to consider is the fact that the state of the Netherlands was lying to them when the state of the Netherlands says that all these conspiracies of an evil elite are not true. So that was a nice novum to bring in, and to see that time is also on our side. We are getting stronger and stronger. Yes. We are winning the information war.
Judgment on the appeal will be delivered on the 9th of April. The main lawsuit continues in October, and yes, I will be following and covering both all the way until the very end. I am also a realist. In the past 6 years, we have all seen far too much to keep pretending otherwise. Illusions are gone. Trust is gone. Whatever the outcome of these hearings, these cases, they already matter, because they have exposed fault lines that can no longer be hidden. Even if they are silenced, even if they are distorted, even if they are buried, especially then. Because truth that must be buried is truth that was dangerous enough to matter. We know what was said in that courtroom, we know what was asserted, and we know the forces that operate behind closed doors, the interests that would rather suffocate truth than face it in the light. If this is buried, it will not be because it lacked meaning, it will be because it had too much of it. Because moments like this are not really about verdicts, they are about exposure. They are about testing whether institutions still have the spine to withstand pressure, or whether they fold when it matters most. And everyone is watching. So I will take these small wins, because history is not built on sudden miracles. This is a trial beyond the courtroom. It is now a test for the judiciary. Now the question is whether justice will reveal what it can still become. So it's no surprise the mainstream media is silent. That's why I'm travelling to these hearings from the UK and working hard to keep you informed. It also makes it our responsibility to push this out. So please share this, please share the links, please share the information. I strongly urge you to follow the expert witnesses' work. You can find information on my website at covyleaks.co.uk under the narrative on trial, with much, much more to come. So please keep talking about this, keep watching, keep sharing. What happened in Amsterdam Court of Appeal will not end there. It will echo, because sometimes precedent is not declared, it is forged. And history remembers exactly who stood firm and who chose to kneel.